In one of our recent uploads, we talked about the life of the most famous pharaoh of all time, King Tutankhamun, who became famous for having the most well-preserved tomb in Egypt's Valley of Kings.
But legend has it that disturbing such embalmed remains brings bad luck, diseases, and even death to the people involved in it. As for the discovery and study of King Tut's tomb, several people associated with it have died. Is the curse real, or is it just pure coincidence?
Hi, I am Nick.
And I am Josh, and we're from Eventful Insights.
Welcome to our channel, and today we'll be discussing whether the rumored ancient curse associated with the tombs and mummies of Egyptian pharaohs are true.
Are you ready? Let's find out.
Before we begin, why don't you tell us in the comments below if you've heard of this ancient curse before?
Now let's start. In our previous video, we discussed the events of early 1923, when British archaeologist Howard Carter, alongside his financial supporter George Herbert, Lord Carnarvon, ceremoniously unveiled the long-hidden burial chamber of Tutankhamun, the boy pharaoh, in Egypt's Valley of the Kings. Strangely, just 2 months later, Lord Carnarvon passed away under eerie circumstances, succumbing to blood poisoning caused by an infected mosquito bite on his cheek.
Because of this, rumors were quick to spread about the curse of the pharaohs. People thought he might have fallen victim to the mummy's curse, or as mentioned, the curse of the pharaohs. This belief suggests that anyone who disturbs the resting place of the kings and queens in the valley would face death. The rumors gained traction when others involved in Tut's tomb excavation also died suddenly and early. But is the curse actually real? To give us a better idea of this curse, let's get to know when this belief originated. The belief in a mummy's curse predates the discovery of Tutankhamun by about a century, and may have originated in England in the 1820s. In 2000, Egyptologist Dominic Montserrat claimed to have found the earliest mention of the curse in a London striptease show, as reported by the British newspaper The Independent. Despite popular belief, no curse written in hieroglyphics was discovered at the tomb of Tutankhamun, the Egyptian king who died at the age of 18 or 19 around 1323 BC. According to DNA testing, his father was believed to have been the pharaoh Akhenaten, and his mother was his father's sister. King Tut had a club foot and scoliosis, possibly resulting from the practice of incest within the royal family.
However, the death of Lord Carnarvon on April 5, 1923, less than 5 months after the tomb's opening, fueled speculations of a malevolent curse. The media abounded with stories of illness and death among archaeologists and explorers. In 1926, the New York Daily News ran a headline declaring, "Vengeance of King Tut is seen as death list mounts." Adding to the narrative was Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the famed creator of Sherlock Holmes, who, being a known spiritualist, suggested to a reporter that an evil elemental might have caused Lord Carnarvon's fatal illness. Subsequent deaths included George J. Gould, an American financier who succumbed to pneumonia after visiting the tomb in 1923, Sir Archibald Douglas Reed, who died shortly after X-raying the mummy in London, and James Henry Breasted, an American archaeologist who, despite living until 1935, died from an infection following his final trip to Egypt.
Because of this, the media frenzy capitalized on a series of unfortunate events befalling others who had visited the tomb. British archaeologist Hugh Evelyn White, part of the Luxor dig, died by suicide in 1924, leaving a note suggesting succumbing to a curse. Richard Bethel, Carter's personal secretary and the first to enter the tomb, was found smothered to death at his London men's club in 1929. Some historians speculate murder by Aleister Crowley, an English occultist. Despite Howard Carter's death in 1939, a full 17 years after the discovery, from Hodgkin's disease, a form of lymphatic cancer, global newspapers predominantly focused on the curse of the pharaohs when reporting his obituary.
But before his death, Howard Carter rejected the idea of a curse, dismissing it as Tommy rot. He expressed that the sentiment among Egyptologists was one of respect and awe, completely contrary to foolish superstitions, as reported by HVF Winston in the book Howard Carter, and the discovery of the tomb of Tutankhamun.
What are your thoughts on the successive deaths of the people that have been associated with or exposed to King Tut's tomb so far? Put them in the comments below.
Now, I think it's about time that we start to discuss whether these occurrences of death and unfortunate events are actually real or just coincidences. Today, science provides a more logical explanation. Research indicates that an organic source, possibly common mold, especially Aspergillus, might have played a role in some of the deaths. King Tut's mummy could have harbored this fungus, known to cause severe infections in individuals with weakened immune systems. English doctors, Sharif El-Tawal and Tariq El-Tawal, in a 2003 letter to the British medical journal The Lancet, highlighted that potentially harmful fungi can endure for extended periods in tombs, and prolonged dormancy may increase their virulence. The demise of Lord Carnarvon, who had a frail condition and a history of upper respiratory ailments, aligns with this diagnosis. According to his New York Times obituary, he died on April 5, 1923, from pneumonia resulting from blood poisoning due to an infected mosquito bite on his cheek, sustained while nicking it with a razor. The El-Tawils suggested that he likely encountered Aspergillus, leading to the fatal Streptococcus infection after the razor cut.
Furthermore, according to the El-Tawils, spores of Aspergillus thrive particularly well on grain. Tutankhamun's tomb provided an ample supply of grain, with offerings of bread and raw grains stored in numerous baskets. Lord Carnarvon could have easily inhaled contaminated grain dust when the sealed tomb was breached. To further emphasize the point that the curse is not real, the British Medical Journal conducted a study in 2002 on the survival rates of 44 Westerners identified by Carter as being in Egypt during the examination of the tomb. The curse was believed not to affect native Egyptians. The study compared the mean age of death for the 25 individuals present at the tomb's opening or examination with those who were not. The results revealed no significant association between potential exposure to the mummy's curse and survival. Moreover, there was no indication that those exposed were more likely to die within 10 years. As for Howard Carter, the key figure in the tomb's opening, one might expect him to be the curse's initial target. However, he lived for another 16 years, passing away at the age of 64 due to cancer, a condition not known to be linked to any toxins from the tomb.
However, for Oxford University biologist Charlotte Raffaluck-Moore, who conducted a recent study supporting the curse of the Pharaoh in specific cases, the concept of infection is not very likely as an explanation for Lord Carnarvon's death. According to him, there's no known parasite or spore-forming pathogen that infects humans and matches Lord Carnarvon's symptoms. Although, from an evolutionary ecology standpoint, it's not impossible to imagine such a pathogen could exist. When considering the human fascination with curses, the likelihood seems even lower.
But did you know that today, doctors and medical investigators have shown less interest in rumors of a death curse and have been more intrigued by King Tut's health issues? Throughout the years, various explanations have been proposed for Tut's early death, his limping gait, and the androgynous features of his face, along with gynecomastia or breast enlargement depicted in his gold-gilded death mask, sculptures, walking sticks, and other artifacts. In 1968, X-rays were conducted on Tutankhamun's mummy, revealing evidence of trauma at the back of the head which was later determined to have occurred post-mortem during mummification, and an unhealed broken leg. These findings led some amateur pathologists to propose various explanations for Tutankhamun's death, such as suggesting he fell from his chariot, was kicked in the head by a large animal, or died from septicemia, or a fat embolism resulting from the femur fracture. Additionally, there were sensational claims that he was murdered, involving a blow to the back of his head as the climax of a complex web of foul play and palace intrigues.
Returning to the supposed curse against those who disturbed King Tut's tomb, the strongest evidence against such supernatural beliefs lies in the life and death of Howard Carter. Carter lived for another 17 years, passing away at the age of 66 in 1939, most likely due to a heart attack following a prolonged battle with Hodgkin's lymphoma. The New York Times, concluding the matter in Carter's obituary, deemed it the best refutation of the curse, stating that Afflicted with bad health from his youth, Carter spent nearly 50 years in Egypt searching for and exploring the ruins of the tombs of pharaohs, and must have been subject to the finest collection of Egyptian curses. Despite the fact that the majority of individuals who worked in or visited the tomb lived long lives, this did not diminish the belief in the curse among those who were inclined to accept it. The narrative of the mummy's curse experienced a revival primarily through the obituaries of Carter and has endured up to the present day.
So, what are your final thoughts on the mummy's curse? Do you believe that it's real, or do you side with science's explanation? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, click subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and see you in our next video.